New Jersey Governor Christie sits in 11th place this morning. CBS News New York Times polls, according to that poll, and that is a long way from a certain other blunt-talking presidential candidate from the Northeast. Some polls suggest that Christie is being hurt by Donald Trump more than any other Republican in the 2016 race. The governor and his wife, Mary Pat, invited us to their New Jersey home last week. We talked about his family, his recent comments on gun control, and tough competition on the campaign trail. Why do you think Donald Trump is resonating with so many people at this particular time?
Well, listen, I think Donald, first off, is a reality TV star. We've never had a reality TV star run for president before.
Is that how you see him, as a reality TV star, not a smart, astute businessman?
No, he's that too. But we've had plenty smart and astute businessmen run for president before. The difference here is this is somebody who comes in with nearly 100% name identification, because they were on a very popular TV show. The people know him, and they generally like him, and they love the character that he played on the show. And so those are all things that are advantages that no one else in the race has.
But right now the polls are not in your favor.
Yeah, I
And
noticed.
how are you? Yeah. And I'm not rubbing it in, but they're not in your favor. And even the residents in your own state are not saying Christie's our guy.
Yeah.
That's got to sting a little bit.
No, it's kind of natural. That's kind of natural.
How is that natural,
if you look at, because when you say that you want to leave and take another job, people get offended. They want to, why doesn't he want to stay here forever? Well, you know, I'm term limited and I'm going to need a new job after 2017. And if I decide I want to stay in public life, this is the only other job I'm interested in.
You all have children in college, high school, middle school. So school shootings certainly must hit close to home. But yet, you seem to be reluctant to embrace tighter gun control laws. Why is that?
Yeah, because I don't think that they work. I mean, that's the problem, Gayle. I think our problem here is mental health. Take one of those last shooters who stole the gun, as we know, from his mom.
Yeah.
Right? Now, there's not a gun control law on the books now or proposed that would have prevented that, unless the people who knew that that young man was disturbed went to the authorities and got him involuntarily committed. And if he were in a hospital rather than on the streets, those people may not have been killed, you know, in Connecticut.
Do you know your neighbors?
Sure.
Yeah.
In fact,
When the governor was first elected, he and Mary Pat decided not to move the family to the governor's mansion, but to stay right here at home in Mendham, New Jersey.
I said, one day during the work week, I want to make sure you're home at family dinner.
They all have weekly dinners together. That's an organizational feat with 4 kids, a dad who was governor, and a mom with a successful career on Wall Street. Do you still do that now,
And
family dinner?
We still do it.
Let's talk about Mary Pat being the breadwinner, so to speak, of the family for a while.
Not so to speak.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, you know, because for many people, men in particular, it's very difficult for many men when their wife earns more, when the wife is the primary breadwinner of the family.
Yeah, it was never a problem for us. I mean, you know, when we started our life
together. Is it because he's secure in who he is?
Perhaps, but honestly, it's all we ever known. It's all we've ever known. Chris was in law school when we first got married. So from the beginning, I was paying school tuition bills and working. So it was kind of natural, and it's not something that we thought about or ever really cared about, honestly.
Never cared about.
Never cared about.
No, so I'm really proud of her. I mean, I think the end of it is, to put all the gender stuff aside, like, she's my partner and I'm proud of her. And so it's
A
always
lot of
been,
men don't look at it that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I think Mary Pat's a great example for our daughters in particular, that, you know, your worth does not come from who you marry. Your worth comes from who you are. And for our sons, I think for them to see that this kind of false macho about you have to be the bigger breadwinner, you have to be, you know, the bigger presence, isn't the way it has to be.
You've been together since you were 22.
Yeah, we actually were friends since I was, 18 or 19.
What made you fall in love with him? And the same to you. But I want Mary Pat to go first.
Well, I always found him really interesting, but in addition to that, he was very funny.
And makes you laugh.
And makes me laugh.
What attracted you to her?
Well, she's cute first.
Okay.
I mean, I am a guy.
That's a given.
I am a guy, so, you know, you notice that, like, she didn't mention anything about that, but guys,
You're cute.
we had, no, that's all right, don't worry about it. We have to be honest, for guys to be honest. I mean, no, I thought she was cute. And so that starts it.
She's still cute, Governor.
Yes, well, there's no doubt about that.
Next year, Governor Christie and Mary Pat will celebrate their 30th wedding anniversary.
It's just one part of our life. And
Most likely on the road, campaigning for president. I don't know any teenager that doesn't think it's cool to live in the White House. Why do you think that you're better than the other candidates who are running?
The presidency is all about being tested. And there's no one who's been in this race who's been more tested than I've been.
Hillary Clinton's been pretty tested, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would.
Would you say you've been more tested than Hillary Clinton?
Well, listen, I think in different ways, yeah, because my responsibilities, I think, in many ways have been greater than hers have been. I think when you're in charge of a state and you're the ultimate accountable person for what happens in that state over a period of time, I do think that that's a much more personal challenge than the challenge of being Secretary of State, for instance, or being one of 100 United States senators. I know there's no test, no challenge that'll come that I won't be up for. And it doesn't mean that everybody will agree with everything I do, but it won't be because I wasn't ready.
Yeah, he says, guys, that he's ready. And to your point, Nora, about the poll that 7 out of 10 people still haven't made up their mind, I know he's thinking, yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. He's not where he wants to be clearly, but he believes there's a long way to go in this race.
Does he
has
the staying power to stay in? He says he's just going to stay in until the race sort of sorts itself out?
He told me he's going to be the nominee. So, yes, he's got staying power.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, does he, though?
He says he does.
Really nice interview.
Money to keep going.
He says he does. He says he does.
It's interesting as Carson changes the dynamic of who the front runner is, how that might affect the race. Trump begins to decline.
It's a long way till next November.
Yeah. February is important. That's,
Yeah, February
that's the
1st.
beginning of the
Yes, that's right.
Iowa and New Hampshire.
And think about February 1st.